Chapter 4. Numerical Descriptive Techniques. Section 1. Multiple choice questions. In the following multiple choice question, please circle the correct answer. 1. Which measure of central location is appropriate whenever we wish to estimate the expected mean return, or growth rate, for a single year in the future? The arithmetic mean, the geometric mean, the median, the mode. Answer: 8. 2. Which of the following statistics is not a measure of central tendency? Mean, median, mode, interquartile range. Answer: D. 3. Which measure of central location is meaningful when the data are nominal? The arithmetic mean, the geometric mean, the median, the mode. Answer: D. 4. Which measure of central location is appropriate whenever we wish to find the average growth rate, or rate of change, in a variable over time? The arithmetic mean, the geometric mean, the median, the mode. Answer: B. 5. Which of the following statements about the arithmetic mean is not always correct? The sum of the deviations from the mean is 0. Half of the observations are on either side of the mean. The mean is a measure of the middle center of a distribution. The value of the mean times the number of observations equals the sum of all observations. Answer: B. 6. Since the population is always larger than the sample, the population mean is always larger than or equal to the sample mean, is always smaller than or equal to the sample mean, can be smaller than, or larger than, or equal to the sample mean. None of the above. Answer: C. 7. Which of the following statements is true for the following data values: 7, 5, 6, 4, 7, 8, and 12? The mean, median and mode are all equal. Only the mean and median are equal. Only the mean and mode are equal. Only the median and mode are equal. Answer: 8. 8. In a histogram, the proportion of the total area which must be to the left of the median is exactly 0.50, less than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the left, more than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the right, between 0.25 and 0.60 if the distribution is symmetric and unimodal. Answer: 8. 9. Which measure of central tendency can be used for both numerical and categorical variables? The arithmetic mean, the median, the mode, the geometric mean. Answer: C. 10. Which of the mean, median, mode, and geometric mean are resistant measures of central tendency? The mean and median only, the median and mode only, the mode and geometric mean only, the mean and mode only. Answer: B. 11. In a positively skewed distribution, the median equals the mean, the median is less than the mean, the median is larger than the mean, the mean, median, and mode are equal. Answer: B. 12. Which of the following statements about the median is not true? It is more affected by extreme values than the mean. It is a measure of central tendency. It is equal to. It is equal to the mode in bell-shaped normal distributions. Answer: 8. 13. Which of the following summary measures is the easiest to compute? The mean, the median, the mode, all of the above. Answer: C. 14. Which of the following is not a measure of central tendency? The arithmetic mean, the geometric mean, the mode, the first quartile. Answer: D. 15. Which of the following summary measures is sensitive to extreme values? The median, the interquartile range, the arithmetic mean, the first quartile. Answer: C. 16. In a perfectly symmetrical bell-shaped normal distribution, the mean equals the median equals the mode, the mean equals the mode, all of the above. Answer: D. 17. Suppose you make a 2-year investment of $2,500 and it grows by 100% to $5,000 during the first year. During the second year, however, the investment suffers a 50% loss from $5,000 back to $2,500. The arithmetic mean and the median is 75%, 50%, 25%, 0%. Answer: C. 18. Suppose you make a Your investment of $2,500 and it grows by 100% to $5,000 during the first year. During the second year, however, the investment suffers a 50% loss from $5,000 back to $2,500. The geometric mean is 75%, 50%, 25%, 0%. Answer D. 19. Which of the following statement is false? A parameter is a descriptive measurement about a population. A statistic is a descriptive measurement about a sample. Students may be more familiar with the average as the other name for the arithmetic mean. None of the above. Answer D. 20. Which of the following statements is true? When the distribution is skewed to the left, mean greater than median greater than mode. When the distribution is symmetric and unimodal, mean equals median equals mode. When the distribution is symmetric and bimodal, mean equals median equals mode. Answer C. 21. In a histogram, the proportion of the total area which must be to the right of the mean is less than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the left, exactly 0.50, more than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the right, exactly 0.50 if the distribution is symmetric and unimodal. Answer D. 22. The average score for a class of 30 students was 75. The 20 male students in the class averaged 70. The 10 female students in the class averaged 75, 85, 65, 70. Answer B. True/false questions. 23. Two classifications of statistical descriptions are measures of central location and measures of variability. Answer T. 24. The mean is one of the most frequently used measures of variability. Answer F. 25. In a histogram, the proportion of the total area which must be to the left of the median is more than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the right. Answer F. 26. The data sample has a mean of 107, a median of 122, and a mode of 134. The distribution of the data is positively skewed. Answer F. 27. A student scores 87, 73, 92, and 86 on 4 exams during the semester and 95 on the final exam. If the final is weighted double and the 4 others weighted equally, the student's final average score would be 90. Answer F. 28. In a bell-shaped distribution, there is no difference in the values of the mean, median, and mode. Answer T. 29. Lily has been keeping track of what she spent to eat out. The last week's expenditures for meals eaten out were $5.69, $5.95, $6.19, $10.91, $7.49, $14.53, and $7.66. The mean amount Lily spends on meals is $8.35. Answer T. 30. In a negatively skewed distribution, the mean is smaller than the median and the median is smaller than the mode. Answer T. 31. The median of a set of data would be more representative than the mean of that data when the average of the data values is larger than most of the values. Answer T. 32. Since the sample is always smaller than the population, the sample mean is always smaller than the population mean. Answer F. 33. The geometric mean is useful in measuring the rate of change of a variable over time. Answer T. 34. The value of the mean times the number of observations equals the median of the observations. Answer F. 35. In a histogram, the proportion of the total area which must be to the left of the median is less than 0.50 if the distribution is skewed to the left. Answer F. 36. The mean is a measure of the deviation in a dataset. Answer F. 37. In a histogram, the proportion of the total area which must be to the right of the mean is exactly 0.50 if the distribution is symmetric and unimodal. Answer T. 38. The geometric mean is a measure of variation or dispersion in a set of data. Answer F. 39. In a sample of size 50, the sample mean is 20. In this case, the sum of all observations in the sample is 1000. Answer: T. 40. A statistics professor bases his final grade on homework, 2 midterm examinations, and a final examination. The homework counts 10% toward the final grade, while each midterm examination counts 30%. The remaining portion consists of the final examination. If a student scored 95% in homework, 75% on the first midterm examination, 95% on the second midterm examination, and 80% on the final, his final average is 84.5%. Answer: T. 41. The median of a dataset with 30 items would be the average of the 15th and the 16th items in the ordered array. Answer: T. 42. The value of the median times the number of observations equals the sum of all of the observations. Answer: F. 43. In a positively skewed distribution, the mean is larger than the median and the median is larger than the mode. Answer: T. 44. The median is an appropriate measure of central location for nominal data, whereas the mode is more appropriate for ordinal data. Answer: F. Statistical concepts and applied questions. For questions 45 through 47, use the following narrative. Narrative: monthly rent. Monthly rent data in dollars for a sample of 10 one-bedroom apartments in a small town in Iowa are as follows: 220, 216, 220, 205, 210, 240, 195, 235, 204, and 250. 45. Monthly rent narrative: compute the sample monthly average rent. Answer: $219.50. 46. Monthly rent narrative: compute the sample median. Answer: $218. 47. Monthly rent narrative: what is the mode? Answer: $220. For questions 48 and 49, use the following narrative. Narrative: number of pets. The sample of 25 families were asked how many pets they owned. Their responses are summarized in the following table. Number of pets: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of families: 3, 10, 5, 4, 2, 1, 48. Number of pets narrative: determine the mean, the median, and the mode of the number of pets owned per family. Answer: 1.80 pet. Median equals 1 pet. Mode equals 1 pet. 49. Number of pets narrative: describe briefly what each statistic tells you about the data. Answer: the average number of pets owned was 1.80 pets. Half the families owned at most 1 pet, and the other half owned at least 1 pet. The most frequent number of pets owned was 1 pet. 50. What are the relative magnitudes of the mean, median, and mode for a unimodal distribution that is symmetrical? Skewed to the left, skewed to the right. Answer: mean equals median equals mode. 51. A basketball player has the following points for 7 games: 20, 25, 32, 18, 19, 22, and 30. Compute the following measures of central location. Mean, median, mode. Answer: 23.71 for median equals 22.0. There is no mode. For questions 52 through 54, use the following narrative. Narrative: number of children. The following data represent the number of children in a sample of 10 families from Chicago: 4, 2, 1, 1, 5, 3, 0, 1, 0, and 2. 52. Number of children narrative: compute the mean number of children. Answer: 1.90. 53. Number of children narrative: compute the median number of children. Answer: median equals 1.5. 54. Number of children narrative: is the distribution of the number of children symmetrical or skewed? Why? Answer: the distribution is positively skewed because the mean is larger than the median. For questions 55 through 58, use the following narrative. Narrative: weights of workers. The following data represent the weights in pounds of a sample of 25 workers: 164, 148, 137, 157, 173, 156, 177, 172, 169, 165, 145, 168, 163, 162, 174, 152, 156, 168, 154, 151, 174, 146, 134, 140, and 171. 55. Weights of workers. Narrative. Construct a stem and leaf display for the weights. Answer. Stem, leaf, 13, 47, 14, 0568, 15, 124,667, 16, 2,345,889, 17, 123,447, 56. Weights of workers. Narrative. Find the median weight. Answer. Median equals 162 pounds. 57. Weights of workers. Narrative. Find the mean weight. Answer. 58. Weights of workers. Narrative. Is the distribution of the weights of workers symmetrical or skewed? Why? Answer. The distribution is negatively skewed because the mean is smaller than the median. 59. The number of hours a college student spent studying during the final exam week was recorded as follows: 7, 6, 4, 9, 8, 5, and 10. Compute for the data and the value in an appropriate unit. Answer. 7 hours. For questions 60 through 63, use a following narrative. Narrative. Ages of employees. The following data represent the ages in years of a sample of 25 employees from a government department: 31, 43, 56, 23, 49, 42, 33, 61, 44, 28, 48, 38, 44, 35, 40, 64, 52, 42, 47, 39, 53, 27, 36, 35, and 20. 60. Ages of employees. Narrative. Construct a stem and leaf display for the ages. Answer. Stem, leaf, 2, 0378, 3, 1,355,689, 4, 0223 for 789, 5, 236, 6, 14, 61. Ages of employees. Narrative. Find the median age. Answer. Median equals 42 years. 62. Ages of employees. Narrative. Compute the sample mean age. Answer. 41.2 years. 63. Ages of employees. Narrative. Find the modal age. Answer. Modes are 35, 42, and 44. For questions 64 through 66, use a following narrative. Narrative. Salaries of employees. The following data represent the salaries in thousands of dollars of a sample of 13 employees of a firm: 26.5, 23.5, 29.7, 24.8, 21.1, 24.3, 20.4, 22.7, 27.2, 23.7, 24.1, 24.8, and 28.2. 64. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Compute the mean salary. Answer. 24.692. 65. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Compute the median salary. Answer. Median equals 24.3. 66. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Consider the following population of measurements: 162, 152, 177, 157, 184, 176, 165, 181, 170, and 163. Compute the mean. Compute the median. Answer. 168.7. Median equals 167.5. 67. The sample of 12 construction workers has a mean age of 25 years. Suppose that the sample is enlarged to 14 construction workers, by including 2 additional workers having common age of 25 each. Find the mean of the sample of 14 workers. Answer. 25. 68. The mean of a sample of 15 measurements is 35.6. Suppose that the sample is enlarged to 16 measurements, by including 1 additional measurement having a value of 42. Find the mean of the sample of the 16 measurements. Answer: 36. 69. An investment you made in the years 2000 to 2003 has the following rates of return shown below. Year: 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Rate of return: 0.50, 0.30, negative 0.10, negative 0.15. Compute the geometric mean. Answer: equals negative 1 equals 0.1052. For questions 70 through 72, use the following narrative. Narrative: investment. Suppose you make a 2-year investment of $5,000 and it grows by 100% to $10,000 during the first year. During the second year, however, the investment suffers a 50% loss, from $10,000 back to $5,000. 70. Investment narrative: calculate the arithmetic mean. Answer: /2 equals 100 plus negative 50 /2 equals 25%. 71. Investment narrative: calculate the geometric mean. Answer: 72. Investment narrative: interpret the value of the arithmetic mean. Answer: the figure of the arithmetic mean is misleading, because there was no change in the value of the investment from the beginning to the end of the 2-year period. The average compounded rate of return is 0%, and this is the value of the geometric mean. For questions 73 through 75, use the following narrative. Narrative: ages of senior citizens. A sociologist recently conducted a survey of citizens over 65 years of age whose net worth is too high to qualify for Medicaid and have no private health insurance. The ages of 20 uninsured senior citizens were as follows: 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 73, 74, 75, 78, 79, 80, 81, 86, 87, 91, 92, 94, and 97. 73. Ages of senior citizens narrative: calculate the mean age of the uninsured senior citizens to the nearest hundredth of a year. Answer: equals 78.15. 74. Ages of senior citizens narrative: calculate the median age of the uninsured senior citizens. Answer: 76.5. 75. Ages of senior citizens narrative: calculate the model age of the uninsured senior citizens. Answer: there is no mode. 76. Suppose that a firm's sales were $2,500,000 4 years ago, and sales have grown annually by 25%, 15%, -5%, and 10% since that time. What was the geometric mean growth rate in sales over the past 4 years? Answer: if is the geometric mean, then equals 1 plus 0.25 1 plus 0.15 1 0.05 1 plus 0.10 equals 1.5022 0.1071 or 10.71%. 77. Suppose that a firm's sales were $3,750,000 5 years ago and are $5,250,000 today. What was the geometric mean growth rate in sales over the past 5 years? Answer: if is the geometric mean, then 3,750,000 equals 5,250,000 equals 0.0696 or 6.96%. Section 2. Multiple choice questions. In the following multiple choice question, please circle the correct answer. 78. Which of the following statements is true? The sum of the deviations from the arithmetic mean is always 0. The sum of the square deviations from the arithmetic mean is always 0. The range mean is always smaller than the variance. The standard deviation is always smaller than the variance. Answer: 8. 79. The sample of 20 observations has a standard deviation of 3. The sum of the square deviations from the sample mean is 20, 23, 29, 171. Answer: D. 80. If two data sets have the same range, the distances from the smallest to largest observations in both sets will be the same. The smallest and largest observations are the same in both sets. Both sets will have the same standard deviation. Both sets will have the same interquartile range. Answer: 8. 81. The empirical rule states that the approximate percentage of measurements in a dataset providing that the dataset has a bell-shaped distribution that fall within 2 standard deviations of their mean is approximately 68%, 75%, 95%, 99%. Answer C. 82. Which of the following summary measures is affected most by outliers? The median, the geometric mean, the range, the interquartile range. Answer C. 83. Chebyshev's theorem states that the percentage of measurements in a dataset that fall within 3 standard deviations of their mean is 75%, at least 75%, 89%, at least 89%. Answer D. 84. Which of the following is not a measure of variability? The range, the variance, the median, the interquartile range. Answer C. 85. The smaller the spread of scores around the mean, the smaller variance, the smaller the standard deviation, the smaller the coefficient of variation. All of the above. Answer D. 86. Is a standard deviation of 10 a large number indicating great variability, or is it small number indicating little variability? To answer this question correctly, one should look carefully at the value of the mean, standard deviation divided by the mean dividing by the standard deviation. Answer C. 87. Which of the following statements is false? There is one measure of variability for nominal data. There is a measure that can be used to describe the variability of ordinal data. Measures of variability can be used only for interval data. None of the above. Answer A. 88. Which of the following statements is true regarding the dataset 8, 8, 8, 8, and 8? The range equals 0. The standard deviation equals 0. The coefficient of variation equals 0. All of the above. Answer D. True/false questions. 89. The value of the standard deviation may be either positive or negative, while the value of the variance will always be positive. Answer F. 90. The difference between the largest and smallest values in an ordered array is called the range. Answer T. 91. The standard deviation is expressed in terms of the original units of measurement, but the variance is not. Answer T. 92. Measures of variability describe typical values in the data. Answer F. 93. While Chebyshev's theorem applies to any distribution, regardless of shape, the empirical rule applies only to distributions that are bell-shaped and symmetrical. Answer T. 94. The mean of 50 sales receipts is $65.75 and the standard deviation is $10.55. Using Chebyshev's theorem, 75% of the sales receipts were between $44.65 and $86.85. Answer T. 95. The sample of 15 observations has a standard deviation of 4. The sum of the square deviations from the sample mean is 60. Answer F. 96. According to Chebyshev's theorem, at least 93.75% of observations should fall within 4 standard deviations of the mean. Answer T. 97. Chebyshev's theorem states that the percentage of observations in a dataset that should fall within 5 standard deviations of their mean is at least 96%. Answer T. 98. The empirical rule states that the percentage of observations in a dataset providing that the dataset has a bell-shaped and symmetric distribution that fall within 1 standard deviation of their mean is approximately 75%. Answer F. 99. The population with 200 elements has a mean of 20. From this information, it can be shown that the population standard deviation is 10. Answer F. 100. If 2 data sets have the same range, the distances from the smallest to largest observations in both sets will be the same. Answer T. 101. The sum of the deviations from the arithmetic mean is always 0. Answer T. 102. The sample mean is a measure of variability or spread or dispersion. Answer F. 103. The standard deviation is the positive square root of the variance. Answer T. 104. If two data sets have the same standard deviation, they must have the same coefficient of variation. Answer, T. 105. The unit attached to the variance is the same unit attached to the original observations of a set of data. Answer, F. 106. The unit attached to the standard deviation is the same unit of the original dataset. Answer, T. 107. The variance, as a measure of variability, is more meaningful and easier to interpret compared to the standard deviation. Answer, F. 108. The range is considered the weakest measure of variability. Answer, T. 109. Chebyshev's theorem applies only to data sets that have a mound-shaped distribution. Answer, F. 110. The coefficient of variation allows us to compare two sets of data based on different measurement units. Answer, T. Statistical concepts and applied questions. 111. A basketball player has the following points for 7 games: 20, 25, 32, 18, 19, 22, and 30. Compute the following measures of variability. Standard deviation. Coefficient of variation. Answer, 5.499. CB equals 0.232. 112. The following data represent the number of children in a sample of 10 families from a certain community: 4, 2, 1, 1, 5, 3, 0, 1, 0, and 2. Compute the range. Compute the variance. Compute the standard deviation. Compute the coefficient of variation. Answer, 5 equals 2.77 equals 1.66. 0.87. For questions 113 and 114, use the following narrative. Narrative: weights of workers. The following data represent the weights in pounds of a sample of 25 workers: 164, 148, 137, 157, 173, 156, 177, 172, 169, 165, 145, 168, 163, 162, 174, 152, 156, 168, 154, 151, 174, 146, 134, 140, and 171. 113. Weights of workers narrative: compute the sample variance and sample standard deviation. Answer, 156.12 and 12.49. 114. Weights of workers narrative: compute the range and coefficient of variation. Answer, range equals 43. CB equals 12.49/159.04 equals 0.079. 115. Is it possible for the standard deviation of a dataset to be larger than its variance? Explain. Answer, yes. The standard deviation is larger than its corresponding variance when the variance is between 0 and 1 exclusive. For questions 116 through 120, use the following narrative. Narrative: ages of teachers. 3 samples, regarding the ages of teachers, are selected randomly as shown below. Sample A, 17, 22, 20, 18, 23. Sample B, 30, 28, 35, 40, 25. Sample C, 44, 39, 54, 21, 52. 116. Pages of teachers narrative: examine the 3 samples. Without performing any calculations, indicate which sample has the largest amount of variability and which sample has the least amount of variability. Answer, sample C has the largest variability, with values ranging from 21 to 54. Sample A has the least variability, with all values close to 20. 117. Pages of teachers narrative: calculate for the 3 samples. What can you infer about this calculation in general? Answer, equals 0 for each of the 3 samples. Equals 0 is always true. 118. Pages of teachers narrative: calculate the variance for the 3 samples. Answer, equals 6.50, 35.3, and 174.5 for samples A, B, and C, respectively. 119. Pages of teachers narrative: compute the range for the 3 samples. Answer. Range equals 6, 12, and 33 for samples A, B, and C, respectively. 120 pages of teacher's narrative. Compute the coefficient of variation for the three samples. Answer. CB equals 0.127, 0.188, and 0.315 for samples A, B, and C, respectively. 121. The number of hours a college student spent studying during the final exam week was recorded as follows: 7, 6, 4, 9, 8, 5, and 10. Compute the range for the data. Express the number in the appropriate unit. Answer. Range equals 6 hours. 122. The number of hours a college student spent studying during the final exam week was recorded as follows: 7, 6, 4, 9, 8, 5, and 10. Compute and ask for the data and express the numbers in the appropriate unit. Answer. 4.667. S equals 2.160 hours. 123. The annual percentage rates of return over the past 10 years for two mutual funds are as shown below. Which fund would you classify as having the higher level of risk? Fund A, 7.1 negative 7.4 19.7 negative 3.9 32.4 41.7 23.2 4.0 1.9 29.3. Fund B, 10.8 negative 4.1 5.1 10.9 26.5 24.0 16.9 9.4 negative 2.6 10.1. Answer. Variance of returns will be used as the measure of risk of an investment, since and fund has the higher level of risk. For questions 124 through 126, use the following narrative. Narrative, ages of employees. The following data represent the ages in years of a sample of 25 employees from a government department: 31, 43, 56, 23, 49, 42, 33, 61, 44, 28, 48, 38, 44, 35, 40, 64, 52, 42, 47, 39, 53, 27, 36, 35, and 20. 124 pages of employees' narrative. Compute the range of the data and express the number in the appropriate unit. Answer. Range equals 44 years. 125 pages of employees' narrative. Compute the sample variance and sample standard deviation and express the numbers in the appropriate units. Answer. 124.83 and 11.17 years. 126 pages of employees' narrative. Compute the coefficient of variation and express the number in the appropriate unit. Answer. CB equals 11.17 years / 41.2 years equals 0.271. CB has no units attached to it. For questions 127 through 130, use the following narrative. Narrative, salaries of employees. The following data represent the salaries in thousands of dollars of a sample of 13 employees of a firm: 26.5, 23.5, 29.7, 24.8, 21.1, 24.3, 20.4, 22.7, 27.2, 23.7, 24.1, 24.8, and 28.2. 127. Salaries of employees' narrative. Compute the variance and standard deviation of the salaries and express the numbers in the appropriate units. Answer. 7.097 and $2.664. 128. Salaries of employees' narrative. Compute the coefficient of variation and express the number in the appropriate unit. Answer. CB equals $2.664 / $24.692 equals 0.108. No units are attached to CB. 129. Salaries of employees' narrative. Compute the range. Answer. Range equals 9.3. 130. Salaries of employees' narrative. Consider the following population of measurements: 162, 152, 177, 157, 184, 176, 165, 181, 170, and 163. Compute the variance and the standard deviation. Answer. 101.61 and 10.08. For questions 131 through 133, use the following narrative. Narrative: egg demand. The supermarket has determined that daily demand for egg cartons has an approximate mound-shaped distribution, with a mean of 55 cartons and a standard deviation of 6 cartons. 131. Egg demand narrative: for what percentage of days can we expect the number of cartons of eggs sold to be between 49 and 61? Answer: approximately 68%. 132. Egg demand narrative: for what percentage of days can we expect the number of cartons of eggs sold to be more than 2 standard deviations from the mean? Answer: approximately 5%. 133. Egg demand narrative: if the supermarket begins each morning with a stock of 77 cartons of eggs, for what percentage of days will there be an insufficient number of cartons to meet the demand? Answer: approximately 2.5%. 134. The sample of 13 high school teachers has a mean age of 30 years and a standard deviation of 5 years. Suppose that the sample is enlarged to 15 high school teachers, by including 2 additional teachers having common age of 30 each. Find the standard deviation of the new sample of 15 teachers. Answer: 4.629. 135. The price-earnings ratios of a sample of stocks have a mean value of 13.5 and a standard deviation of 2. If the ratios have a mound-shaped distribution, what can we say about the proportion of ratios that fall between 11.5 and 15.5, 9.5 and 17.5, 7.5 and 19.5? Answer: the interval contains approximately 68% of the ratios. The interval contains approximately 95% of the ratios. The interval contains approximately 99.7% of the ratios. 136. According to the empirical rule, if the data form a bell-shaped normal distribution, approximately underscore 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 percent of the observations will be contained within 2 standard deviations around the mean. Answer: 95. 137. According to the empirical rule, if the data form a bell-shaped normal distribution, approximately underscore 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 percent of the observations will be contained within 1 standard deviation around the mean. Answer: 68. Section 3. Multiple choice questions. In the following multiple choice question, please circle the correct answer. 138. When extreme values are present in a set of data, which of the following descriptive summary measures are most appropriate? CB and range, mean and standard deviation, interquartile range and median, variance and interquartile range. Answer: C. 139. The length of the box in the box and whisker plot portrays the median, interquartile range, third quartile. Answer: B. 140. In left-skewed distributions, which of the following is the correct statement? The distance from 2 is smaller than the distance from 2. The distance from the smallest observation to is larger than the distance from to the largest observation. The distance from the smallest observation to is smaller than the distance from to the largest observation. The distance from 2 is twice the distance from the 2. Answer: B. 141. In perfectly symmetrical distributions, which of the following statements is false? The distance from 2 equals to the distance from 2. The distance from the smallest observation to is the same as the distance from to the largest observation. The distance from the smallest observation to is the same as the distance from to the largest observation. The distance from 2 is half of the distance from the smallest to the largest observation. Answer: D. 142. Which of the following summary measures cannot be easily approximated from a box and whisker plot? The range, the interquartile range, the second quartile, the standard deviation. Answer: D. 143. Expressed in percentiles, the interquartile range is the difference between the 10% and 60% values, 45% and 95% values, 25% and 75% values, 15% and 65% values. Answer: C. 144. In right-skewed distributions, which of the following is the correct statement? The distance from 2 is larger than the distance from 2. The distance from 2 is smaller than the distance from 2. The distance from 2 is twice the distance from 2. The distance from 2 is half the distance from 2. Answer B. 145. Which descriptive summary measures are considered to be resistant statistics to outliers? The mean and standard deviation, the interquartile range and range, the mode and variance, the median and interquartile range. Answer D. 146. Which of the following summary measures is not sensitive to extreme values? The range, the standard deviation, the interquartile range, the coefficient of variation. Answer C. 147. Which of the following statements is false? The lower or first quartile is labeled and is equal to the 25th percentile. The second quartile is labeled and is equal to the median. The upper or third quartile is labeled and is equal to the 75th percentile. Quintiles divide a dataset into 4 equal groups, each containing 25% of the data values. Answer D. 148. Which of the following statements is false? Percentiles can be converted into deciles, where deciles divide the data into fifths. A common error is to state that someone is in the lower quartile of a group when they actually mean that someone is in the lower quarter of a group. The 80th percentile is the value for which 80% of all values are less than that value and 20% are greater than the value. None of the above. Answer A. True/false questions. 149. The interquartile range will always exceed that of the range. Answer F. 150. The interquartile range is found by taking the difference between the first and third quartiles and dividing that value by 2. Answer F. 151. Quartiles divide the values in a dataset into 4 parts of equal size. Answer T. 152. The length of the box in the box and whisker plot portrays the interquartile range. Answer T. 153. Expressed in percentiles, the interquartile range is the difference between the 25th and 75th percentiles. Answer T. 154. If the distribution of a dataset were perfectly symmetrical, the distance from to the median would always equal the distance from to the median in a box and whisker plot. Answer T. 155. Expressed in quintiles, the interquartile range is the difference between the first and third quintiles. Answer F. 156. In a set of numerical data, the value for can never be smaller than the value for. Answer T. 157. In a set of numerical data, the value for is always halfway between and. Answer F. 158. Percentiles can be converted into quintiles and deciles, where quintiles divide the data into fifths and deciles divide the data into tenths. Answer T. 159. The 5-number summary consists of the smallest observation, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the largest observation. Answer T. 160. In left-skewed distributions, the distance from the smallest observation to exceeds the distance from to the largest observation. Answer T. 161. The box and whisker plot is a graphical representation of the 5-number summary. Answer T. 162. In right-skewed distributions, the distance from the smallest observation to exceeds the distance from to the largest observation. Answer T. 163. In a box and whisker plot, the box portion represents the data between the 25th and 75th percentile values. Answer T. 164. The line drawn within the box of the box and whisker plot always represents the mean. Answer F. 165. The line drawn within the box of the box and whisker plot always represents the median. Answer T. 166. The interquartile range is a measure of variation or dispersion in a set of data. Answer T. 167. If and then the distribution of the data values must be negatively skewed. Answer F. 168. If and then the distribution of the data values must be positively skewed. Answer F. 169. If and then the distribution of the data values must be symmetric. Answer, F. 170. Expressed in percentiles, the second quintile is the 40th percentile. Answer, T. 171. Expressed in percentiles, the fifth decile is the 50th percentile or the median. Answer, T. Statistical concepts and applied questions. For questions 172 through 183, use a following narrative. Narrative, weights of workers. The following data represent the weights in pounds of a sample of 25 workers: 164, 148, 137, 157, 173, 156, 177, 172, 169, 165, 145, 168, 163, 162, 174, 152, 156, 168, 154, 151, 174, 146, 134, 140, and 171. 172. Weights of workers narrative determine the location and value of the lower quartile of the weights. Answer. Location equals 6.5, and value of equals 148 plus 0.50 151 148 equals 149.5. 173. Weights of workers narrative determine the location and value of the second quartile of the weights. Answer. Location equals and value of. 174. Weights of workers narrative determine the location and value of the upper quartile of the weights. Answer. Location equals 19.5, and value of equals 169 plus 0.50 171 169 equals 170. 175. Weights of workers narrative describe the shape of the distribution of weights based on the quartiles values. Answer. Since then the distribution of weights must be negatively skewed. 176. Weights of workers narrative determine the location and value of the 60th percentile of the weights. Answer. Location equals 15.6, value of the 60th percentile equals 164 plus 0.60 165 164 equals 164.6. 177. Weights of workers narrative construct a frequency distribution for the data, using 5 class intervals, and the value 130 as the lower limit of the first class. Answer. Class limits. Frequency. 130 up to 140. 2. 140 up to 150. 4. 150 up to 160. 6. 160 up to 170. 7. 170 up to 180. 6. Total. 25. 178. Weights of workers narrative construct a relative frequency histogram for the data, using 5 class intervals and the value 10 as the lower limit of the first class. Answer. 179. Weights of workers narrative. What does the histogram tell you about the distribution of the weights of workers? Answer. The histogram indicates negative skewness. 180. Weights of workers narrative construct a box plot for the weights. Answer. 181. Weights of workers narrative. Are there any outliers? Answer. The QR equals 20.5, there are no outliers. 182. Weights of workers narrative. What does the box plot tell you about the distribution of the data? Answer. The box plot indicates negative skewness. 183. Weights of workers narrative. Calculate the third and seventh deciles of the data. Answer. Location equals 7.8, and value of third decile equals 151 plus 0.80 152, 151 equals 151.80. Location equals 18.2, and value of seventh decile equals 168 plus 0.20 169, 168 equals 168.20. For questions 184 through 188, use the following narrative. Narrative, hours of TV watching. Suppose that the following data provide the hours of television viewing per week for a sample of 15 high school students in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 5. 11, 25, 19, 18, 20, 27, 13, 8, 10, 15, 19, 18, 9, and 12. 184. Hours of TV watching narrative determine the location and value of the first quartiles. Answer. Location equals 4, and value of equals 10. 185. Hours of TV watching narrative determine the location and value of the second quartile. Answer. Location equals 8, and value of equals 15. 186. Hours of TV watching narrative determine the location and value of the third quartile. Answer. Location equals 12, and value of equals 19. 187. Hours of TV watching narrative calculate the interquartile range. Answer. IQR equals 9. 188. Hours of TV watching narrative interpret the value of the interquartile range. Answer. The middle 50% of television viewing hours are between 10 and 19 hours. For questions 189 through 201, use of following narrative. Narrative, ages of employees. The following data represent the ages in years of a sample of 25 employees from a government department: 31, 43, 56, 23, 49, 42, 33, 61, 44, 28, 48, 38, 44, 35, 40, 64, 52, 42, 47, 39, 53, 27, 36, 35, and 20. 189. Ages of employees narrative find the lower quartile of the ages. Answer. Location equals 6.5, and value of 33 plus 0.50 35, 33 equals 34 years. 190. Ages of employees narrative find the upper quartile of the ages. Answer. Location equals 19.5, and value of 48 plus 0.50 49, 48 equals 48.50 years. 191. Ages of employees narrative find the 60th percentile of the ages. Answer. Location equals 15.6, and value of the 60th percentile equals 43 plus 0.60 44, 43 equals 43.6 years. 192. Ages of employees narrative compute the interquartile range of the data, and interpret its meaning. Answer. IQR equals 48.5, 34 equals 14.5. This means that 50% of the ages of employers from that government department are between 34 and 48.5 years. 193. Ages of employees narrative calculate the fourth decile of the data. Answer. Location equals 10.4, and value of fourth decile equals 38 plus 0.40 39, 38 equals 38.40. 194. Ages of employees narrative compute the eighth decile of the data. Answer. Location equals 20.8, and value of a decile equals 49 plus 0.80 52, 49 equals 51.4. 195. Ages of employees narrative calculate the first quintile. Answer. Location equals 5.2, and value of first quintile equals 31 plus 0.20 33, 31 equals 31.40. 196. Ages of employees narrative calculate the second quintile. Answer. Location equals 10.4, and value of second quintile equals 38 plus 0.40 39, 38 equals 38.40. 197. Ages of employees narrative construct a box plot for the ages and identify any outliers. Answer. There are no outliers. 198. Ages of employees narrative. What does the box plot tell you about the distribution of the data? Answer. The box plot indicates symmetry. 199. Ages of employees narrative construct a relative frequency distribution for the data, using 5 class intervals and the value 20 as the lower limit of the first class. Answer. Class limits. Relative frequency. 20 up to 30, 0.16. 30 up to 40, 0.28. 40 up to 50, 0.36. 50 up to 60, 0.12. 60 up to 70, 0.08. Total 1.00. 200 pages of employees' narrative. Construct a relative frequency histogram for the data. Answer: 201 pages of employees' narrative. What does the histogram tell you about the distribution of the data? Answer: the histogram incorrectly indicates positive skewness. The histogram using a class width of 9 would indicate symmetry. For questions 200 to through 206, use the following narrative. Narrative: salaries of employees. The following data represent the salaries in thousands of dollars of a sample of 13 employees of a firm: 26.5, 23.5, 29.7, 24.8, 21.1, 24.3, 20.4, 22.7, 27.2, 23.7, 24.1, 24.8, and 28.2. 202. Salaries of employees. Compute the lower quartile. Answer: location equals 3.5, and value of 22.7 plus 0.50. 23.5, 22.7 equals 23.1. 203. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Compute the second question. Answer: location equals and value of. 204. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Compute the upper quartile. Answer: location equals 10.5, and value of 26.5 plus 0.50. 27.2. 26.5 equals 26.85. 205. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Describe the shape of distribution of salaries of employees of the firm based on the quantiles values. Answer: since then the distribution of salaries must be positively skewed. 206. Salaries of employees. Narrative. Compute the 98th percentile. Answer: location equals 12.6, and value of the 98th percentile equals 28.2 plus 0.60. 29.7, 28.2 equals 29.1. For questions 207 the HOURGH 209, use the following narrative. Narrative: test scores. Suppose that an analysis of a set of test scores reveals that 207 test scores. Narrative: what do these statistics tell you about the shape of the distribution? Answer: the fact that 40 is greater than 20 indicates that the distribution is skewed to the left. 208. Test scores. Narrative: what can you say about the relative position of each of the observations 34, 84, and 104? Answer: since 34 is less than, the observation 34 is among the lowest 25% of the values. The value 84 is a bit smaller than the middle value, which is 85. Since 105, the value 104 is larger than about 75% of the values. 209. Test scores. Narrative: calculate the interquartile range. What does this tell you about the data? Answer: IQR equals 60. This means that the middle 50% of the test scores are between 45 and 105. For questions 210 through 214, use the following narrative. Narrative: pages of senior citizens. A sociologist recently conducted a survey of citizens over 65 years of age whose net worth is too high to qualify for Medicaid and have no private health insurance. The ages of 20 uninsured senior citizens were as follows: 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 73, 74, 75, 78, 79, 80, 81, 86, 87, 91, 92, 94, and 97. 210. Pages of senior citizens. Narrative: calculate the first quartile of the ages of the uninsured senior citizens. Answer: location equals 5.25, and value of equals 69 plus 2570. 69 equals 69.25. 211. Pages of senior citizens. Narrative: calculate the third quartile of the ages of the uninsured senior citizens. Answer: location equals 15.75, and value of equals 86 plus 7587. 86 equals 86.75. 212. Pages of senior citizens. Narrative: identify the interquartile range of the ages of the uninsured senior citizens. What does this value tell you about the data? Answer: IQR equals 17.5. This means that the middle 50% of senior citizens whose net worth is too high to qualify for Medicaid and have no private health insurance are between 69.25 and 86.75 years of age. 213. Ages of senior citizens narrative. What does the value of the first quartile tell you? Answer. 1/4 of the senior citizens sampled are below 69.25 years of age. 214. Ages of senior citizens narrative. What does the value of the interquartile range tell you? Answer. The middle 50% of the senior citizens sampled are between 69.25 and 86.75 years of age. 215. If the first and second quartiles are closer to each other than are the second and third quartiles, the shape of the histogram based on the quartiles is underscore 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 underscore. Answer. Positively skewed. 216. If the first and second quartiles are farther apart than the second and third quartiles, the shape of the histogram based on the quartiles is underscore 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 underscore. Answer. Negatively skewed. 217. If the difference between the first and second quartiles is approximately equal to the difference between the second and third quartiles, the shape of the histogram based on the quartiles is not necessarily underscore 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 underscore. Answer. Symmetric. Section 4. Multiple choice questions. In the following multiple choice question, please circle the correct answer. 218. Assuming a linear relationship between x and y, if the coefficient of correlation r equals negative 0.30, this means that there is no correlation. The slope is negative. Variable x is larger than variable y. The covariance of x and y is positive. Answer. B. 219. The slope of the least squares line represents the predicted value of y when x equals 0. Estimated average change in y per unit change in x. Predicted value of y. Variation around the regression line. Answer. B. 220. Generally speaking, if two variables are unrelated as one increases, the other shows no pattern, the covariance will be a large positive number, a large negative number, a positive or negative number close to 0, none of the above. Answer. C. 221. If the correlation coefficient r equals 1.00, then all the data points must fall exactly on the straight line with a slope that equals 1.00, the straight line with a negative slope, the straight line with a positive slope, a horizontal straight line with a zero slope. Answer. C. 222. The y-intercept of the least squares line represents the estimated average y when x equals 0. Estimated average change in y per unit change in x. Predicted value of y. Variation around the sample regression line. Answer. 8. 223. A perfect straight line sloping downward would produce a correlation coefficient equal to +1, -1, +2, -2. Answer. B. 224. The least squares method minimizes which of the following sum of squares? All of the above. Answer. B. 225. The y-intercept of the least squares line represents the predicted value of y when x equals 0. Change in estimated average y per unit change in x. Predicted value of y. Variation around the sample regression line. Answer. 8. 226. Which of the following are measures of the linear relationship between two variables? The covariance, the coefficient of correlation, the variance, both A and B. Answer. D. 227. The strength of the linear relationship between two numerical variables may be measured by the scatter diagram, coefficient of correlation, slope of the regression line, y-intercept. Answer. B. 228. The denominator in the calculation of the sample covariance, covxy is n, 2, n, 1, n, to n, 1. Answer. B. 229. If covx y equals 0, 20.0, and then the sample coefficient of correlation R is plus 1.40, 1.40, 0.71, plus 0.71. Answer, C. True/false questions. 230. If the covariance of x and y is 26.16, and the standard deviation of x is 32.7, then the slope of the least squares line is equals 80. Answer, F. 231. If equals 7587, equals 7106.4, and n equals 12, then the y-intercept of the least squares line is equals 40.05. Answer, F. 232. If the coefficient of correlation R equals 0, then there is no linear relationship whatsoever between the dependent variable y and the independent variable x. Answer, T. 233. If the coefficient of correlation R equals 0.81, the standard deviations of x and y are 20 and 25, respectively, then covx, y must be 405.0. Answer, T. 234. The advantage that the coefficient of correlation has over the covariance is that the former has a set lower and upper limit. Answer, T. 235. If the standard deviations of x and y are 12.5 and 10.8, respectively, and the covariance is 118.8, then the coefficient of correlation R is 0.88. Answer, T. 236. Generally speaking, if two variables are unrelated, the covariance will be a positive or negative number close to 0. Answer, T. 237. If the standard deviation of x is 18, the covariance of x and y is 120, the coefficient R equals 0.90, then the standard deviation of y is 54.87. Answer, F. 238. While the covariance does not describe a linear relationship between the variables x and y numerically, the coefficient of correlation does. Answer, F. 239. The coefficient of correlation R is a number that indicates the direction and the strength of the relationship between the dependent variable y and the independent variable x. Answer, T. 240. The variance is a measure of the linear relationship between two variables. Answer, F. 241. A perfect straight line sloping upward would produce a correlation coefficient value of 1.0. Answer, T. 242. When the standard deviation is expressed as a percentage of the mean, the result is the coefficient of correlation. Answer, F. 243. If the coefficient of correlation, then the best fit linear equation will actually include all of the data points. Answer, T. Statistical concepts and applied questions. 244. Given the following sample data: x 420, 610, 625, 500, 400, 450, 550, 650, 480, 565, y 2.80, 3.60, 3.75, 3.00, 2.50, 2.70, 3.50, 3.90, 2.95, 3.30. Calculate the covariance and the correlation coefficient. Comment on the relationship between x and y. Determine the least squares line. Draw the scatter diagram and plot the least squares line. Answer, equals 41.25. There is a very strong positive linear relationship between x and y. The least squares line is. For questions 245 through 248, use the following narrative. Narrative, experience and salary. The sample of 8 observations of variables x years of experience and y salary in $1000s is shown below. X 5, 3, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, y 20, 23, 15, 11, 27, 21, 17, 14, 245. Experience and salary narrative. Calculate the covariance between x and y. Answer, Negative 12.71 for 246. Experience and salary narrative. Calculate the coefficient of correlation, and comment on the relationship between X and Y. Answer. There is a very strong, almost perfect negative linear relationship between X and Y. 247. Experience and salary narrative. Determine the least squares line, and use it to estimate the value of Y for X equals 6. Answer. When X equals 6, or $17,441. 248. Experience and salary narrative. Draw the scatter diagram and plot the least squares line. Answer. 249. How is the value of the correlation coefficient are affected in each of the following cases? Each X value is multiplied by 4. Each X value is switched with the corresponding Y value. Each X value is increased by 2. Answer. The value of the correlation coefficient does not change. The value of the correlation coefficient does not change. The value of the correlation coefficient does not change. 250. Consider the following sample. X 9, 6, 7, 5, 8, Y 19, 14, 16, 12, 15. Calculate the covariance and the coefficient of correlation for the following sample. B. What do these statistics tell you about the relationship between X and Y? Answer. Equals 3.75. The covariance tells us that the two variables are positively related. The coefficient of correlation tells us that there is a strong positive linear relationship between X and Y. Section 6, 7. Multiple choice questions. In the following multiple choice question, please circle the correct answer. 251. Which of the following is not the correct statement? Scatter diagrams, covariance, and the coefficient of correlation are useful techniques for detecting relationships between two interval variables. The coefficient of correlation can take on any value between -100 and a100, inclusive. We have measures of central location, measures of variability, and measures of relative standing that do what the histogram does. All of the above. Answer. B. 252. Which of the following is the correct statement? The central location of highly skewed data may be more appropriately measured by the median. The shape of the distribution can help us determine the approximate center of the distribution. The shape of the distribution can help us determine whether the observations are close to one another, or they are widely spread. All of the above. Answer. D. 253. Which of the following is not the correct statement? The shape of the distribution can help us determine if the distribution is unimodal, bimodal, or multimodal. The shape of the distribution can help us determine if the distribution is symmetric or not. We may use the interquartile range instead of the mean as a measure of central location. None of the above. Answer. C. 254. Which of the following is the correct statement? The purpose of applying graphical and numerical techniques is to describe and summarize data. For a particular set of bivariate data, the covariance is always smaller than the coefficient of correlation. The shape of the distribution cannot provide some guidance on which numerical techniques to use to summarize the data. None of the above. Answer. 8. True/false questions. 255. Graphical techniques are useful in producing a quick picture of the data. Answer. T. 256. In general, graphical and numerical techniques, such as histogram and least squares lines, provide identical information. Answer. F. 257. The scatter diagram graphically describes the relationship between one nominal variable and one interval variable. Answer. F. 258. The coefficient of correlation and the least squares line describes the relationship between two interval variables. Answer. T. 259. We should learn something about the location, spread, and shape of a set of nominal data when we examine its histogram. Answer. F.